If you do it, I will find you, and I'm gonna hunt you down. Nah, it was a conversation, an ordinary one at that, between Elon Musk and Russia. No, he specifically didn't say that, but that's what he meant. I know it, because I've gotten Neuralink installed in my brain. I know what he's thinking. But in reality, how do I know? Well, because I know how to read between the lines. Russia's invading Ukraine territory, and it is at that point in time that everybody needs to know what's going on. And also, we know that Elon Musk is supporting Ukraine, and he's willing to go to pretty much any extent to help Ukraine, even to a point where he has got to do everything on his own. Why does he want to help Ukraine? Well, he's got good ties with them, and they welcomed his company every time he brought something new. So, where if we were to talk about Russia, they aren't so friendly, as you can tell by the tanks and the bombs. Anyways, when Elon Musk was young, there was no SpaceX to be found. He went to Russia to buy some rockets, and what they did is insulted him and increased the price every time he went there. So he started SpaceX, but things didn't necessarily change after that too. He flew back and forth to Russia for their help, and now Russia had experienced scientists, and it was one of the obvious choices. At that time, the cost of building a rocket was significantly higher than what it is today, but when he went to Russia for help, they mistreated him every time. One time, they even asked for a bribe and then assaulted him. His net worth was around $200 million at that time, and he was just 30. So this thing happened when the company was relatively new to the field, just a wee bitty infant. Not the best behavior, I'd venture to say. Tensions between Russia and Ukraine, a former Soviet republic, had been simmering a long time before erupting in early 2021. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pressed U.S. President Joe Biden in January of last year to allow Ukraine to join NATO. Now, this isn't like a new resentment, but rather an old resentment that has existed for a long time. This enraged Russia, which started sending troops near the Ukrainian border for quote-unquote training exercises in the spring of last year and increased the number in the fall. By December, the United States had begun to hype the deployment of Russian soldiers, and President Joe Biden had threatened Russia with severe retaliation if he attacked Ukraine. This had been a well-thought-out strategy. It wasn't an instantaneous occurrence. Behind the scenes, Russia was plotting, and Russia had demanded a legally binding guarantee from NATO that it will not conduct military operations in Eastern Europe or Ukraine. According to Vladimir Putin, Ukraine is a puppet of the West and was never a neutral state in the first place. So, indeed, Russia had a clear objective, and they only wanted and want one thing. They recently stated that if Ukraine elected to put down their weapons, they would stop the invasion and try to resolve the situation democratically. But we all know that is not going to happen. In this state of tension, the war is affecting Russia, Ukraine, and the whole world. Due to this war, the economy is just going down. The stock market is crashing. The crypto market is crashing. World trade is facing problems. Even the flight routes have been diverted. As the Ukrainian airspace is a no-fly zone for the time being, and no one is in a mood to piss off Putin. Internet service in Ukraine has also been taken down, and many international students stuck in Ukraine are getting airlifts daily. When they're telling the story and the state of Ukraine, then trust me, it's not pretty. No men from the age of 18 to 60 are allowed to leave the country, as they're getting guns to fight this war. And they're just civilians with no experience. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. There was a time when Elon Musk warned about Russia, saying that it is a country that could start World War III, and now we're looking at what could be the start of it. Touch wood. Elon Musk is trying his best to help Ukraine to prevent the worst-case scenario from happening. He provided Ukraine with Starlink so that they could stay connected to the grid. With Starlink available, people don't have to rely on expensive cellular data that jammers can block real easily. They can connect to Starlink and connect to the embassy and request help. They can even talk to their loved ones and tell them that yes, they're safe and yes, they're healthy. If they are in a problem, they can contact people who can bring in big help in these times of war. They also provided free supercharging for both Tesla and non-Tesla users so that people could escape war zone areas and be safe. He's also in constant talk with the Ukrainian president and trying to provide them with aid in every way that he can. And he's using his Twitter account to show support for Ukraine. He's also standing tall and telling Russia to back off, and if they don't, the outcome ain't gonna be pretty, ain't gonna be good, ain't gonna be good for anybody. Anyways, he challenged Vladimir Putin on a one-on-one fight, and the stakes are the freedom of Ukraine. That's a pretty bold move if you ask me. The conflict between the two is already affecting Elon Musk. I mean, his company shares are going down, but that's something that happens with every company. And if I'm honest, then right now, he doesn't care about his share prices. But it is something that he knows and probably won't continue to tank too much. Musk is worried that the US would be sucked into the conflict, which would be a significant setback for his business interests. If a war breaks out, then the US and Ukraine will surely defeat Russia. Unlike Russia's army, which hasn't been fighting, the United States armed forces have been inspired by wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Because the United States has so many allies around the world, I do declare it has a better chance of winning. They also have developed strong ties with a number of countries as a result of this, and they will be over to overwhelm Putin's army with a large-scale fighting force and technological breakthroughs. I mean, it's always said about the US military, we got the guns, you know? The military is going to have an advantage over Russia, because America is the origin of a lot of technological advancements, and they may choose to deploy some of their nuclear bombers that can avoid radar detection. And because they have a more robust economy, they will be able to defeat Russia. The success of the war is highly reliant on financial backing too, and the US has got plenty sufficient finances to conduct a war. Plenty sufficient debt. Don't forget the United States is home to 8 of the top 10 wealthiest persons on the planet. According to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, billionaires like Elon Musk are going to back the US and Ukraine against Russia. Around 130 Ukrainians and 5,710 Russian militaries have died in this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Putin's army has fired a volley of missiles at Ukrainian positions thus far. Russia has made it clear that they're going to go to any length to achieve their objectives, and they ain't going to stop either. He stated on live television he is prepared for whatever wars arise, and Ukrainian Prime Minister Petro Poroshenko has urged Ukrainians to protest this war. Ukrainians' leadership made fun of Putin by comparing him to Adolf Hitler, and top Kiev officials believe that Putin is going to start World War III in the same way that Hitler started World War II. I guess he didn't technically start it, but whatever. They've also enlisted the support of their allies. The NATO Secretary General has a meeting to discuss how the alliance could aid Ukraine in ending the crisis. Russia's been heavily condemned for its aggressions against Ukraine. Some foreign leaders, including Australia's Scott Morrison, have criticized Putin's invasion of Ukraine. With all this to back it up, we now know the war between Russia and Ukraine has very much begun, just as Elon Musk said. So what are your opinions of this? Do you think that the disputes and conflicts might actually lead to the Third World War, where we now have nuclear weapons that could bring about the destruction of the entire planet? Well, the best thing for us all to do is, I know this is preaching, but just hope. Hope that it doesn't turn out to be anything that we're thinking. And there is something that is pointing out that this war will probably be over sooner than you think. The UN court has already ordered Russia to stop its invasion of Ukraine, and there are also so many sanctions that are placed upon Russia, which makes the odds a little better for Ukraine. And then there's this moral support of the whole world going behind him. What Elon Musk thought a while ago came true, as many people might have seen it coming, but he was the only one who was bold enough to say it out loud. And he's also brave enough to challenge the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. I really hope that this whole stuff comes to an end soon enough, but when the conflict does end, there's going to be one thing I want to see, and that is the actual hand-to-hand combat between and in this corner, he's going to bring you to the narrow brink of death. It's Elon Musk! And in this shitty little corner, we have Vladimir Putin! Fight! It's going to be way more entertaining than all of this depressing stuff that's going on in the news. And who knows, maybe if Elon Musk shamed him with his fists, he would never do anything stupid again. Later, guys.